Hey all, welcome back to another episode of the Double Down Game Challenge Season 2, where I try to double my collection in a year, in this case a year and 2 months, and just end up doing it by going to thrift stores, selling, reselling, buying and then reselling, I should say, and then just trying to find stuff at thrift stores and occasionally get a good deal on either eBay or a local comic book store. Now, I have actually have been a little bit surprised because this week I wasn't really planning on doing a video. I was planning on just saving a lot of money. Next weekend we have Iowa Retro Video Game Event, where a bunch of vendors come together and sell retro video games in a bar. It is so much fun. You can drink while you shop and all that stuff, which usually means some bad purchases, but it could be a lot of fun, enjoyable. They have games you can play, games you can test out, and usually pretty reliable vendors with good prices. So really surprised. I was going to try to save as much money as I possibly could. I did end up saving my target amount, but not the way I thought I was going to. So there's also a bit of a story behind why you go to the same thrift stores over and over and over again, even though they never seem to have anything. And it's because you end up with a haul like this. So let's get started without any further ado. So I went into my local DAV. I actually bought a lot of video games that next week we'll see on eBay for a pretty decent price. And then I was going to save $20, and that was going to be it. I wasn't going to be shopping. I knew I was going to get one game in the mail because I bought it last week. I'd been following the tracking. Knew it was going to be delivered either today or tomorrow. And yeah, it ended up coming, but I decided to go to my local DAV, which is probably one of my favorite thrift stores. I've had some of my best pickups there. And, I always go pretty much either on a Friday or Saturday. Well, this Friday, well, technically it's Saturday now, but on Friday I ended up going a little later than normal. One of my youngest son is sick. I didn't really want to. I wanted to make sure he got his morning nap, so I wanted to get him that nap, and then we go to thrifting. I ended up going not fully, expecting to find anything new. I was going because they sell bags of small toys and all that, and every now and then you can find full-size action figures. You can find really good like mini figures of video game stuff, and that's something I collect, and it's usually like $2 or $3. Not a big, not a big purchase. So I was like, if I find something, I find something great. Well, check the video game section, and I don't know if they just restocked or whatnot, but there was a couple of titles. Now, this first title is actually the Division 2 for the Xbox One. It is complete. It has its code and all that. It is a clean copy. This disc, it looks like it's never been played. Probably hasn't, considering what it is, but I do like these games. I do find them enjoyable. So I decided to pick it up. It was only going to be around $3. Well, I ended up looking around a little more, and I found 2K15 for the WWE wrestling game for the Xbox 360. Now, this game was also complete, but the disc was in a bit of a rough shape, so I decided to take a chance. I've been wanting to get a couple of these wrestling games because I do enjoy them, And to find one for so cheap, and obviously I don't find a lot of games there, I decided to grab them. I decided to grab it. I did get it cleaned up. It does work, so paid off. So there was also a copy of Enzo, the Enzo collection for the Nintendo Switch. Now that had complete everything, the case, the insert, all that. But I will not be showing it in this video, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So, but I did put those on hold. I went to the toy section. I actually ended up finding 3 Black Series Star Wars figures and another, I don't remember what series that one came off of, but there was another one that were complete in package, only $2 each. I stuck those in the cart, decided to look around in the movies and all that. Sometimes they throw video games in there. They did have 3 video games. I was a little surprised to find those. One of them was Wipeout for the Nintendo Wii. I already have it, don't need it. Another one was I believe it was the latest Battlefront on PS4. The actual like pins that hold the DVD or the CD in were broken. The CD was scratched up, all the heck. I don't collect PS4. It was staying there. But I did end up finding this, and it was Chaotic Shadow Warriors for the PS3. Very surprised to find this. And it is not complete, unfortunately, but good clean disc. And it's a game I was willing to pick up. Again, $3. Don't have it. Going to pick it up. Now, when I say I'm glad to actually find 4 games and a couple of action figures and all that, I do mean that there are people who go in before me. They get there bright and early, and they end up buying pretty much all the video games by the mass. If they're not sports, if they're not Wii shovelware, and if they don't have any great value, you usually find them you find their leftovers. So to find 3 games that I actually wanted to buy that were not Wii shovelware, yes, one of them is a sports if you count wrestling as a sport, but still it was a good quality pickups. And to find a Switch game was just amazing because they don't leave those behind for nothing. So, but again, I don't have the Switch game. So what did I do with it? Well, I bought everything. I ended up finding a puzzle, a 3D Ninja Turtle puzzle besides that, and looked through the books. There was really nothing there. Decided to get out. I ended up buying everything for $23. So really a good deal for pretty much everything that I was getting and for the quality of it. And I ended up cleaning up the Switch because they put like a marker. They use marker for on the cases. Now, luckily, it's the kind that you can actually just use like a dry eraser or something. It'll take it right off, no problem. And for the action figures, they actually had stickers that came off pretty easy. So I ended up taking those stickers off, cleaning up the Switch case, and then took it to my local JCD and Hobby, which is actually a comic book / toy / video games / board games / They have pretty much everything you would ever want to collect, anything nerdy. And I ended up taking those 4 figures and the Wii Enzo collection, the Switch Enzo collection, and just got rid of it. Now, reason why I didn't keep the Enzo collection is because I find the games like that have a wide world that you need to pay attention to detail don't really play well on the Switch. If you have like a docking port, which I do not, you can play them on the TV. You can get that bigger, broader view. I don't have it. I already had all three of those games on either the Xbox or the PlayStation 3 or whatnot. So I just decided to get rid of it. And knowing Switch as it is, I know that they usually hold their value really well. So I was sure to make some good money back. Now, for the Switch game and the four Star Wars games, I pretty much paid $11. There may have been tax, but that would have only come up to like $1 or $2. So $11, and when I traded them in, I got 30 back. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it when I find stuff to flip. I end up flipping it, getting recuperating some of that money, and then actually having money to buy games that I want instead of keeping these things that I don't want. So I know people hate on resellers, but it does actually work quite a bit. So I did end up picking up a game and two figures, and the one game I got was Chrono Cross. I ended up picking this up for $15. It is complete. Whoops. It is complete. The discs are really, really good. And the game has been on my list for a little while. I've heard this is just a really good series to get into. I know the Chrono Trigger is actually a pretty decently expensive game, if I'm not mistaken. But it is, considered to be a good game. I was ended up able to pick up that with some of the money that I had gotten from the Star Wars figures and the Switch game. I also picked up this Summon Skull. Now, this is and I'm going to say Tokaku. Yeah, I probably butchered that really bad. These are pretty much PlayStation's versions of Amiibos. And I am a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Summon Skull was probably one of my favorite characters from the first game. I do not know if these things are memory cards. I do not know if these things interact the same way as Amiibos. But I do know that these are video game related. They're usually around $10 to 15, sometimes a little higher. I do have another one, which is a Tomb Raider, but I wanted to pick this up. He was only $3. I figured, why not? He'll go great with my anime collection and video game. And then I ended up picking up this guy, Mass Effect? Mass Effect. My mind is blanking. I know I am a horrible, horrible person. I want to say it's Mass Effect. But anyway, just a really cool figure. I have been looking at one of those on, I believe, eBay. They're like $8 to $10. And again, he was $3. I wasn't going to pass him up. So that's why you actually go to that's why you go back to your thrift stores. You've seen, the same stuff every now and then, because every now and then you actually find a good haul of video games and stuff you can flip. And it's always really nice to see. Kind of renews your spirit. You want to go back, and it usually happens when you're in, like, I'm never going back to that store. Hasn't had anything good in months. It's dried up. It's withered. I'm going to write it off. And then you're like, I'm going to go one more time. And that's usually when you find, something like this. So, I do firmly kind of believe that. So we'll go with the rest of the pickups. This was the game that I ended up buying last week. It did come in the mail, but it is Cardinal Sin for the PlayStation. From what I understand, this is kind of a fighting game. It doesn't have some of the best reviews, but I do like fighting games even if I'm not very good at them. And this one just, it looked interesting. It looks enjoyable, and I can't wait to actually play it. So Last one I did pick up is for the Wii. It is Need for Speed Carbon. I love these Need for Speed games. Definitely want to pick up all of them. I know I have some on the Xbox. I have some on the Xbox, I have some on the Xbox 360. I have some for PlayStation 3, and then I have, I think, one or two more for the Wii. So, nice little stack of games, two decent figures, and I was going in with the mindset I wasn't going to find anything. So, you never know what you're going to find, especially thrifting. I love finding that stuff, and I love actually proving myself wrong. Well, guys, next week is that convention. Definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to the box of video games that I got coming, and just to see what I find. I always like seeing these because you always find games that you didn't know existed, games that look very interesting, and just, games you don't see very often. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up some games, to go into the collection and to maybe even start a new series that I didn't know about, or find some of the games that I'm looking for series like Resistance Fall of Man 2. I'm not even sure this game exists, but I guess I've seen other people get it, so it has to. I just never seen one in person. So I'm also going to try to find some Super Famicom games that aren't going to break the bank and are going to be worth it. So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video, if you want to subscribe. I know we just got another subscriber today. Welcome. Thank you for asking questions and all that stuff. And, I'll just say good night, and hopefully you guys have a better day for tomorrow.